Welcome, mathmates, to 3 levels of fraction fun. These lessons are designed to help you reinforce the fraction skills we've been learning in class together and clear up any confusion you may have. So let's get started. All right, our academic goal today is to learn to create common denominators using one or more methods to add or subtract fractions. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can create common denominators in fractions. When it comes to creating common denominators, you have 2 options. Take a look at the fractions 1/4 and 2/3. Notice the denominators are different. One option is to find the LCM, or least common multiple, of the denominators. I like to think of this as the count by numbers. So for the denominator of 4, I count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, etc. For the denominator 3, I count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12. Bingo, there it is. 12 is the first number in the count by counts in which 3 and 4 share. So 12 is the LCM of 3 and 4. Another option is to use the QCD, or quick common denominator approach. This approach requires you to multiply the denominators by each other. 4 times 3 equals 12. In this case, the LCM and the QCD happen to be the same. That won't always be the case, but both methods are reliable. Common denominators create equivalent fractions. Study this fraction wall for a moment. Notice that 1 whole is the same as 2 halves, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, 6/6, and so on. By following a vertical line on the fraction wall, you can find equivalent fractions. For example, 1/2 is equal to 2/4. 1/2 is also equal to 3/6. 1/3 is equal to 2/6. 1/3 is also equal to 4/12. So this just gives you the visual representation showing you that equal fractions represent the same amount with different names. Here's another visual for you. 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8, which is equivalent to 4/16. All 3 fractions refer to the same amount. 1 out of 4, 2 out of 8, 4 out of 16. So keep that in mind. Once you've established the common denominator, simply use the multiplication rule. 1/4 times 3 creates the fraction 3/12. 4 times 3 equals 12. The key here is remembering to multiply the numerator and denominator by the number 3. To find the equivalent 12ths for 2/3, we need to multiply by 4, because 3 times 4 equals 12. Again, multiply both numerator and denominator by 4, creating the equivalent fraction 8/12. Once you've established common denominators, you simply add the numerators. The denominator stays the same. So your new fractions 3/12 plus 8/12 equals 11/12. 3 plus 8 equals 11. Time to practice. You may pause the screencast here and go to your IXL account. Be sure to be on the Edina sign-in page, grade 5. Complete lessons L.8 and L.10 and work towards 80% accuracy or better. I'll be able to see your scores on my IXL class roster page. Check back to the screencast if you become confused, but good luck. I know you can do it. Welcome back, mathmates. You're now ready for part 2, adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Our academic goal for this lesson is to evaluate a mixed number equation and apply the appropriate method of computation. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can add and subtract mixed numbers with like and unlike denominators. Let's just pause and review. What is a mixed number? A mixed number is a whole number, non-zero whole number, and a fraction. A whole number, 4, and a fraction, 1/7. Here's your visual reminder. Mixed numbers represent wholes and parts. So for example, this mixed number is 2 whole and 2/5 of another whole. Mixed number form to fraction form. Quick review. Since we have 2 wholes with 5 parts in each whole, 2 times 5 makes 10, and we have these 2 extra fifths over here. We're going to add that to the 10 we have in the 2 wholes for a total of 12 fifths. So mixed numbers, improper fractions make sense. When adding and subtracting mixed numbers, the first thing you should do is stop. Think about denominators. Are they alike or unlike? In the equation 2 1/5 plus 5 2/5, we notice the denominators are the same. But in the equation 4 2/4, take away 2 1/6, we notice the denominators are different. When denominators are alike or common, begin by simply adding or subtracting the whole number part of the mixed number. Then add or subtract the fraction part of the mixed number. For example, 2 1/5 plus 5 2/5 equals 7 3/5 because 2 plus 5 makes 7 and 1/5 plus 2/5 makes 3/5. When denominators are unlike, begin by creating denominators that are alike. Recall the LCM, least common multiple, and QCD strategies from our previous lesson. Fourths and sixths, unlike denominators. If I count by 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, and count by 6s, 6, 12, I land on 12 as the first number 4 and 6 share or have in common. That 12 can become the common denominator. Or I could use the QCD. 4 times 6 equals 24. 24 could serve as a common denominator as well. Once you've established that common denominator, rename the mixed numbers and solve. Use the multiplication rule to rename the fraction part of each mixed number. Again, we're multiplying both numerator and denominator by 3, creating the new fraction part, 4 6/12. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 equals 12. 2 1/6 needs to be multiplied by 2 because 6 times 2 equals 12. And we must multiply 2 by the numerator as well. 1 times 2 equals 2. So our new mixed numbers, 4 6/12 and 2 2/12 may now be added or subtracted. In this case, we're asked to subtract. So we're going to subtract fractions first, whole number second. 6/12 take away 2/12 equals 4/12. 4 take away 2 equals 2. Our final answer, 2 4/12. Time to practice. Again, go to your IXL Edina sign-in page, click on grade 5 and complete L18, L19, and L20. Again, working towards 80% accuracy or better, and I will check your scores on my Excel class roster page. You may stop the screencast here and begin your work. Good luck. Part 3, fractions and percents. Our academic goal today is to convert fractions to percents and solve percent number stories. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can convert fractions to percents and find the percent of a whole. Percents. Knowing how to use fractions can help you solve percent problems. So everything you've learned about fractions, like and unlike denominators, equivalent fractions, should come in handy here. Let's recall that percents are always out of 100. 100 is the whole, so 27% is equal to the fraction 27 hundredths. And 50% is equal to the fraction 50 hundredths. When using percents, remember the denominator is always 100. Percents are useful in making comparisons between quantities when the whole is not the same. Converting fractions to percents, you've got two options. 3/5. You can create an equivalent fraction with 10 or 100 as a denominator. 3/5 times 2 will create the denominator 10 and the numerator 6, or 3/5 times 20 creates the numerator 60 and the denominator 100. These new equivalent fractions can be written as decimal numbers. You can multiply them by 100 to